I'll never forget the way the sunlight poured through the chapel windows that afternoon, turning everything golden and perfect. My white gown flowed around me like a dream, and my heart was so full it felt like it might burst. I was marrying Ryan, my pilot, the man who made the whole world feel like it was finally mine to explore. He stood at the altar in his crisp captain's uniform, smiling at me with those steady eyes that had promised me forever. My brother Mark walked me down the aisle. He'd been my everything since our parents passed, my protector, my rock, the one who made sure I never felt alone. 10 years older, he'd raised me, shielded me from every storm. I squeezed his arm, whispering, "Thank you for giving me away today." He gave me a tight smile, but something in his eyes looked off dark, almost angry. I brushed it away. It was just nerves. The ceremony was beautiful. Ryan and I said our vows, and when he kissed me, the guests cheered like the whole world was celebrating. At the reception, laughter floated through the air, glasses clinked, and everything felt like a fairy tale, until Mark stood up for his best man toast. At first, his words were warm. "Sophia's my little sister. I've looked out for her my whole life." Then his voice changed. "But Ryan, pilots are never really home, are they? They chase the sky while the people who love them wait on the ground, alone." The room went quiet. I felt my cheeks burn. I stood up gently. "Mark, please not today. This is our day." His face twisted. "You don't understand, Sophia. He's going to leave you, just like." I cut him off, voice shaking. "Stop! You're hurting me right now." That's when it happened. In front of everyone, family, friends, the photographer still snapping pictures, Mark lunged forward and punched me square in the face. My head snapped back. Pain exploded across my cheek and lip. I tasted blood. The world tilted. I hit the floor in my wedding dress, white fabric pooling around me like spilled milk. Gasps ripped through the room. Someone screamed. Ryan was at my side in a heartbeat, cradling my head, his voice low and steady. "I've got you, love. Breathe." But I just stared up at Mark, my big brother, the man who once carried me on his shoulders, now standing over me with his fists still clenched. My heart shattered right there on the marble floor. How could the person who was supposed to love me most be the one to break me on the day I was supposed to begin my forever? But what I didn't know that day was that this punch wasn't the real betrayal. It was only the beginning. They rushed me to a side room while the reception fell apart. Ice pressed to my swelling lip. I sat on a velvet chair and cried until my chest hurt. Ryan knelt in front of me, wiping my tears with his handkerchief, whispering that we could still salvage the nights. But all I could see was Mark's face twisted in rage. The brother who taught me how to drive, who sat up with me through every heartbreak, had just hit me in front of 200 people. The days that followed were a blur of pain and confusion. My phone wouldn't stop ringing. Half the family saying Mark had just had too much to drink and was only trying to protect me. The other half too shocked to speak. I locked myself in our new apartment, staring at my wedding photos on the wall. Every time I looked at my smile in that white dress, I saw the blood on my lip instead. Mark tried to call. I didn't pick up. When he finally showed up at our door, Ryan calmly told him to leave. Mark shouted through the wood, "He's not good for you, Sophia. Pilots live dangerous lives, end up waiting by the phone like Mom did." His words cut deep, because part of me wondered if he was right. Ryan's job meant long flights, layovers in strange cities. What if I was making a mistake? What if my own brother saw something I couldn't? Nights were the worst. I'd lie awake, replaying every moment. Mark had ever steered me away from a boyfriend. Every time he said, "No one will ever love you like I do," I started questioning everything. Had he been protecting me or controlling me? The thought made my stomach turn. I felt so broken, so small. The girl who once believed family could never hurt her was gone. In her place was someone shattered, wondering if love was just another lie waiting to punch her when she least expected it. Ryan never pushed. He'd come home from flights with flowers and quiet strength, holding me while I cried. "We'll figure this out together," he'd say. Slowly, something inside me began to shift. The pain was still there, raw and deep, but beneath it, I felt a quiet fire growing. I was tired of being the little sister who needed saving. I wanted to stand on my own. Then, one quiet evening, Ryan sat me down on the couch, his pilot's hands gentle around mine. "Sophia, I didn't want to tell you like this, but I've been looking into why Mark lost it that day. There's something you need to see." He opened his laptop. My heart pounded. I didn't know it yet, but the man I married was about to hand me the truth that would either destroy me completely or finally set me free. Ryan didn't raise his voice. He simply turned the laptop toward me and showed me the files. Bank statements, forged signatures, transfer records. For years, Mark had been quietly draining the family trust. Fund our parents left for me. The money meant for my future, my education, even the down payment on the house Ryan and I were buying. Over $50,000 gone. Gambling, debts, secret loans. He'd been living off what was supposed to be mine while pretending to be my hero. The punch at the wedding. It wasn't about protecting me. It was panic. Mark Neo Ryan, with his calm nature and connections from years of flying, had started asking questions. He was terrified the truth would come out the moment I became someone's wife and gained real independence. So he tried to ruin the day before I could find out. We called a family meeting the next weekend. Everyone gathered in the same living room where Mark used to read me bedtime stories. I stood beside Ryan, my lips still healing, my voice steady for the first time in weeks. Mark walked in expecting another chance to play the protective brother. Instead, Ryan calmly connected his laptop to the TV and let the evidence speak. The room went deathly silent. Mark's face drained of color. He tried to deny it. "She's twisting this." But the numbers didn't lie. Our aunt started crying. His own wife looked at him like she didn't even know him anymore. I watched the man who once carried me on his shoulders crumble right in front of me. No yelling, no fists this time. Just the quiet, devastating weight of truth. In the weeks that followed, the family cut ties. Mark had to sell his car to start paying back what he stole. He lost the respect that had once been his armor. I didn't gloat. I didn't need to. The exposure itself was the justice. Ryan never once said, "I told you so." He simply booked us a honeymoon flight to the Maldives first class. Of course, Sand held my hand the entire way. Today, when I look at the faint scar on my lip in the mirror, I don't see pain anymore. I see the day I stopped letting someone else write my story. Betrayal from the person you love most cuts deeper than any punch, but it also teaches you who you really are. I learned that real family isn't the one who claims to protect you while stealing your future. It's the one who stands quietly beside you and helps you fly. Ryan and I are building a life full of sunsets from airplay, windows and quiet mornings where no one controls my happiness but me. If you're watching this and carrying the weight of your own betrayal, please, hear me. The punch that breaks. You can also be the moment you finally rise. Trust the people who lift you, not the ones who only pretend to. And never forget, you deserve a love that exposes lies and then takes you higher than you ever dreamed. Thank you for listening to my story. I'm finally free.